watching The Phil Better Show. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, I am, of course, Phil Better, the host with the most of this amazing show, The Phil Better Show. And, of course, I'm always coincided and co-hosted with Aarron Talks Film. Aarron, why are you reading a book?
It's just a book, Phil. No harm ever came from reading a book. Boom. Boom. The mummy. Boom.
You had to throw in a movie quote, didn't you?
I had to do it. It's just I just finished watching that movie and it's just incredible. And I had to do something because it's just my thing now, isn't it? I don't know why, but it's my thing. I had to do it. How are you?
I am doing good. My team of Sarla, they played together they played a game today, their first preseason game, and they played a really fun game. It was lovely to watch. Live stream straight from their stadium in France, so it was nice to watch them play that, and a little bit of interviews afterwards. So, yeah, that's pretty much my day. I had a good time. I'm wearing, a Bill Murray shirt, so I'm happy. You got the Ghostbuster going on. Yes. And I promise you guys, we did not coincide of what we're going to wear, but it always works out that way. The universe works out. So if you are watching this live, make sure you hit us with that hashtag live. If you're watching on the replay, hashtag replay. And if you're just tuning in for a couple seconds, say hi. Let us know what's going on. If you are commenting on some profiles, sometimes I can't see it. I'm sorry. But you know what this show is. It's the Phil Better Show. We're talking The Mummy, Brendan Fraser classic, as well as some amazing sequel news, because that's apparently all we can talk about in Hollywood is sequel news, because they don't come up with new stuff. But of course, I'm going to throw it over to my boy, Aarron Talks Film, who is the pop culture expert, and he knows everything in between about the pop culture. Aarron, I'm kind of excited for the sequel news, because it takes two of my favorite things in the world, an actor and a character, and putting them together. I'm talking Sonic. Tell me more about what's going on in the Sonic world.
I did not know I wanted this until I heard this news, and I'm still trying to get my head around it. It is perfect, but at the same time very confusing, because I don't even know why. It's very strange. Yeah, Sonic the Hedgehog number 2, the sequel is, I believe it's finished filming, or it's thereabouts. It's very close to finish. But yeah, they've just cast the voice for Knuckles. A complete swerveball. I did not see it coming, but it's Idris Elba.
Yes, the great Idris Elba.
The brilliant, the amazing Idris Elba absolutely crushed it. If you have not seen the Suicide Squad yet, go and watch it. He's an incredible person, actor, singer as well. He sings and raps as well. He can do anything. But yeah, I did not envision Knuckles with his voice. I don't know whether he's going to put like an American twang in there, because I know he can do an American accent, or is he going to go with his very kind of gruff British?
He has to go Brit. Go Brit. Go hard. I do want to shout out Adam, who's tuning in live on my Facebook profile. Adam, you are a champ. Always tuning in to my live streams that I do Monday to Friday for the podcast series. Sorry for interrupting you, Aarron. I just wanted to get him out because he's commenting and we can't bring it up on screen. But yes, Knuckles, being Idris Elba, throw in that gruff Luther voice, just don't make it American, make it him unique, make it, something different, and it's going to be awesome. I'm sorry, Knuckles was always my favorite.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know a lot about Knuckles. I mean, I've watched some cartoon series of Sonic, and the Knuckles that I'm like familiar with, he's kind of this big, oafish, almost surfer dude kind of accent. So that's what I always picture in my head. So that complete and utter swerveball of Idris Elba is the exact opposite of what I'm kind of envisioning in my head, but not in a bad way. Like I think it's great and I love it. I'm really excited to see what he does and what that character is going to sound like. Again, it's a massive fan favorite character. Like you just said, You're a big fan of that character. I know it's across the whole kind of media when it comes to Sonic. That character is just almost if not more popular than Sonic himself. So it's going to be very interesting to see what they do with it.
He's an icon. Like Knuckles is iconic in the Sonic verse. You know, I wouldn't suggest going down the Sonic fandom writing area because that is a minefield of special. And if you're interested in actually hearing some of it, my boy Carlisle Laurent on one of his podcasts actually reads from some fanfic of Sonic, and it is some of the most disturbing stuff ever. I'm gonna try and find the link for you guys and put it into the show notes. But yeah, Sonic, wow. I could also see him playing Shadow from the Sonic universe because he's the exact opposite of Sonic. Shadow, you know. So you have Idris Elba playing another kind of like anti-hero. But I think him playing Knuckles will be amazing. But also another iconic character that's coming out that's just been cast. Tim Burton's remaking the Addams Family, and the always delicious Morticia has been cast. Who's playing this delicious beauty of the Addams Family, the matriarchal of the Addams Family?
Again, it's one I did not see coming. I absolutely did not see this coming. I grew up in the 90s, so my vision of the Addams Family is, of course, Raul Julia as Gomez and Angelica Houston, the beautiful, gorgeous, brilliant Angelica Houston as Morticia Addams. So they're kind of like the images that I have. But Tim Burton being Tim Burton, he goes his own way, and again, it's not very left of centre because she does very much look the part. But it's just I didn't see it coming. But he has gone with not Helena Bonham Carter, which you'd assume that Tim Burton would.
Yes.
It's actually Catherine Zeta-Jones, which I think is incredible because you look at Morticia Addams and you see this sexy, beautiful, gothic queen. And I feel very much that Catherine Zeta-Jones can pull that off. And again, she's a great actress and she has that look. So yeah, I'm 100% on board for this.
So I'm just looking at the news reel that you sent me. So just for those who didn't know, and I didn't know beforehand, Catherine Zeta-Jones will step into this iconic silhouette of Morticia Addams, while Luis Guzman, I love it, will be bringing up the debonair Gomez Addams. And in this one, you have Wednesday not being played by a kid, but it's going to be a teenager, and it's going to be played by Jenna Ortega. And so it looks like Burton's going with more of the original comics, an older version instead of children. Yeah. And you know what? I'm okay for this. I am all for Jenna Ortega playing Wednesday, which was famously played and made famous by Christina Ricci in the live action ones. So I think this could be a very interesting jumping point for her. Catherine Zeta-Jones is gonna kill it. She's an amazing actress, and it's just gonna be great. And Luis Gomez is just gonna bring that suave debonair to it, and I just can't wait to see who they're having playing.
Is it Pugsley? It's Pugsley, isn't it? Is it Pugsley?
Hold on, I can't believe we're having this. Hold on, give me a second.
This is terrible. Or Uncle Fester. You've got Uncle Fester as well. Who's gonna play the hand?
I want. You know who I want? I want Tim Burton to play the hand. Play it. Yeah. Pugsley Addams. Yeah, it's Pugsley Addams. Was played by. Give me a second here. Let's go to the Addams Family. In the 1991 movie, it was played by Angelica Houston obviously played Morticia Addams, and everyone's kind of first crush, if you will. Raul Julia played Gomez Adam. Christopher Lloyd played Uncle Fester, famously, and
to
a T. Let's see here. Lurch was played by Carl Stroken, so we have to find out who's going to be playing Lurch. Wednesday Addams was played by the beautiful and talented Christina Ricci. The Thing was played by Christopher Hart. Pugsley Addams was played by Jimmy Workman, and cousin it was John Franklin. I am so excited. I want to see who's playing Pugsley, because that's going to be interesting in the movie to see the teenage version of that. So there's a lot of fun stuff.
Yeah, and with Tim Burton, the way that he goes, it's going to have that very gothic. It's good, like you say, it's going to be a bit more adult than what we used to. You know, the Addams Family was very family friendly from back in the day, but yeah, I can see this going almost. I've not watched it, but Sabrina on Netflix apparently is a bit more adult than
Yes.
what we remember Sabrina the Teenage Witch being. So I can see it being in that kind of ilk where it's more aimed at elder teens and adults, which will be very interesting to see. I think it's going to be fun.
Yeah, they're moving towards more. I think with Tim Burton, when you get Tim Burton, it's rare that you're just going to have a child movie. You're going to have it played to the adults as well, and adults are going to be able to enjoy it with the darkness of it. I don't think he's going to go too dark. They're obviously going to try and keep it family friendly, but he's going to move towards the comic book, just like a lot of people have been wanting original stories, instead of going for the cartoony horror that can be associated with the early 90s movies. It's more campy and more child variant. But moving to some great news, to some bad news.
Sequel news as well.
Again, staying with the sequel news. It looks like there's going to be carnage because of this. And I love that little segue there. What's going on? Cool. Right? Carnage with the fandom getting upset over this. What's going on with Venom and the sequel? What's happening?
Well, I have not seen it, but I know that the last trailer that they released, I believe, like a week ago. I've not watched it because it's got to a point now where I just want to ignore all of that sort of stuff because I just want to watch the movie.
Yeah.
At the end of it, instead of having the date for the release of the movie, they just said coming this fall or this year or something along those lines. And it's now been confirmed that it's going to be released on October 15th. It was due to come out early September, but they've pushed it back that extra month. Again, it's all down to COVID, isn't it? They want more butts in the seats. They want to make more money. So they're going to push it back another month because they're hoping that by then the restrictions will not be as bad and they can make more money basically, because that's what all of these studio heads look at. They look at
the money instead of what the fans want. I guarantee you. Look, COVID's not going to go away. We know COVID's not going to go away. It sucks. Yeah. We have to take precautions and all that. Look, you have Sony can just team up with Disney, get it streamed straight to the Disney platform, split the revenue. It's like $30 to go see it. People are going to pay that $30 to see Venom. They're going to want to see more Spider-Man characters because Spider-Man with Tom Holland is amazing. I know Tom Hardy has said that it's a disappointment that. Sorry, I'm on a fast and I haven't eaten all day, so I'm very exhausted. And having sat and played video games all day because I'm trying to conserve energy and be out here and giving you energy, it's just depleted everything that I've had. But I know Tom Hardy has said that he wants to work with Tom Holland and all those greats. So it's like, come on, guys, just break down those barriers. Let's go.
Shake hands, kiss and make up. Let's do it. Yeah.
Look, you made a deal. It's not going to hurt Marvel because what's really great with what happened in Loki with the explosion of the multiverse.
Spoilers.
Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness. Come on, people.
Spoilers. People may not have watched it yet. I've seen it, but I'm just saying there might be people out there.
Look, with what happened at the end of Loki, Marvel and Sony now have this opportunity to say and throw, if they want, Tom Holland over here. Yeah. Or they can cast another Spider-Man. Because of that it's going to be hard for them. But if Marvel goes like this, hey, look, we'll give you Spider-Man for your movies, your Spider-Verse.
Yeah.
but we get him for any team-up movies or any solo movies. The solo movies, they're joint venture 50-50, both put in $50, both make, like, they put in 50% of the money, they make 50% of the money. But if Marvel needs Spider-Man for one of their Avenger movies or a cameo in another thing, Marvel gets the rights to that, and Sony gets the rights to put him into their Spider-Verse. That is the simplest way to solve this, because then you get Spider-Man in everything. Tom Holland just makes money. Point for now.
Yeah.
We know this. Yeah. Tom Holland will just make money because he's going to be the Spider-Man in all three universes. The one, like, they can make, look, this is our shared universe, the Spider-Man thing. So maybe sometimes a Marvel character pops up so you can get the Deadpool moments or the X-Men moments, because there's great moments with Spider-Man and the X-Men, or specifically more Wolverine. You know, they have those great moments there. But also, you can have a standalone movie with his general characters and villains in it. But then you can also go, because I know the Sony wants to go into a darker realm and do more of the villains, and I think that is wise. Just go fucking villain, do the villain movies like Morbius, Venom. They have Kraven coming out. Like, flesh out the villains. Be the anti to Disney's brightness. You know, Disney's all about the heroes. You know, WB, their big movies have been the villainous movies, like the Suicide Squad was a hit, and now there's even a hashtag release the Ayer cut for Suicide Squad, which I read up on it, and apparently there is a lot of things that were mangled in this movie.
Apparently there's enough footage of Jared Leto as a Joker that could fill out a whole movie. From what I hear, you know, it's absolutely ridiculous. Again, this kind of culture, we talk about it so much, about this hashtag culture, and studios will buckle to it eventually. I think the easiest thing for Disney to do, just go and fucking buy Sony. That's all they need to do, and then just say, right, Sony, we own you now. You can carry on making your little villain movies, your little Sinister Six stuff, but we own these characters now, so we're going to use them as well. And then just put Venom in the Spider-Man movie. It's not difficult. It's Disney have the money. It's not hard.
No.
Also, you know, alongside this, Tom Hardy is apparently going to be in Morbius. Venom is going to be in Morbius. So they're going to tie all of this together, and they're going to have their little Sinister Six universe. But just put Spider-Man in there as well. It's not difficult. Spider-Man has to be there because they've already fucked up. Venom's origin, because his origin is directly tied to Spider-Man, but they just went around that and did it in a different way. So why not just go and buy Sony? It's not that hard. Just do it. That's the easiest way, I think. Instead of making handshakes and contracts, just buy Sony. You're looking how much Sony is, how much it is to buy Sony. Please tell me.
I'm not going to look it up. It's a few billion. Hold on a second.
Yeah.
I'll be right back. No, I don't need to be back. Sorry, I thought someone was at my door, but no one's at my door. Adam did just. I'm looking at the comments here on my other screen, and Adam just went, "I once dressed up as Spider-Man for a kids' party. Do you think that is enough experience for me to be the next Spider-Man?" Yes.
Yeah. I have 100%. A Spider-Man costume. I can be Spider-Man as well. So,
and you know what's funny? Adam is probably just up the road from you. He is British. I don't know where in Britain he lives.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I must know him then.
Yeah, of course. You know Adam. Of course. All you Brits know each other. That's how it works, right?
Yeah, it's a very small country. I'll probably bump into him at some point. Yeah.
But yes. Look, Sony, Marvel, Disney, get over yourselves.
Yeah.
It's a new world. You can work together. Like, look, Marvel makes great fucking movies. Yes. You guys don't.
Yeah. You make
Come
movies.
Together.
Yeah.
Come together, and I promise you, money's going to be flowing out of the Raptors.
Yeah, share some ideas, shake hands, kiss and make up, and make a Spider-Man movie together.
Especially when it comes to like Marvel properties. Like, look at what all Marvel has done. Instead of being like, no, we can make a better Spider-Man movie. No, you can't. You had a Sam Raimi trilogy, which is beloved by the fans, but in all honesty, is probably horrible. You tried it again with Andrew Garfield, trying to go the ultimate Spider-Man route, and failed miserably there. The only reason Tom Holland works is because of Marvel.
Yes.
So get off your goddamn high horse, go over to Marvel and Disney and be like, hey, how about some help? And I guarantee you, Kevin Feige will be like, yes. Because all it's going to do is make your movies better, which will in turn make people want to see Disney's Marvel stuff, and everybody's making fucking money. And people who see the Disney stuff will be like, oh shit, I want to go watch this good Sony Spider-Man stuff, because they're going to be prominent, so putting Spider-Man in prominent places. And so why the fuck not just come together and stop this, like this is, it's so annoying.
It's not going to get resolved. I think Sony are at that point now where they don't need to be bought out. I think when it came to Fox, when Disney bought Fox, they were at a point where they were fucked. Yeah, I was trying to find a polite way to put it, but they were fucked. Sony, I think, are still above that, so that is not going to happen anytime soon. And they're always going to be butting heads because Sony believe that what they're doing is right. Even though the fans have told them it's not. All it takes is one movie like Venom, which made, I think it nearly grossed like $1 billion. It got to that point where it was so well received that they're like, well, we know what we're doing now. No, you don't. One good movie does not make, Aquaman made nearly $1 billion, but it wasn't good. It was fine, but it wasn't
fun.
Yeah, it was fun, but it wasn't great. And DC took that and they carried on with that and they fucked it up as well. So it's, just one good movie does not make a good franchise. And Sony have yet to understand that.
I'm glad that you bring that up because there's a big difference between what Disney has done with Marvel and Lucas Arts. Yeah. They're trying to fix Lucas Arts now, but with their lessons they learned with Marvel and what Sony and Warner Brothers are doing. Warner Brothers is, I think they're moving more towards what Disney is doing, but
slowly.
It's slowly. But what it is Disney trusts the creatives to handle their project. They're like, look, this is what we need in it. Somehow fix that, put that in it so that it's there. But other than that, go free. Whereas Sony and Warner Brothers, they're the lawyers who have no like the marketers, the lawyers, the suits who have no idea about creativity and what it is, jump in, put their hands in, and fuck around with something that they shouldn't be. Say, look, hey guys, we need to hit this beat and this beat and this beats for marketing purposes. Can you somehow do that or give us something? And creators will be like, okay, I have a challenge. Great. Let's see what I can do. Instead of going, no, guys, reshoot this. Reshoot this. We know how bad it was on Solo when they replaced the Phil and Lord.
Yeah.
Those guys on the original and went with nothing against Ron Howard. However, he wasn't there at the beginning, so he couldn't feel it. He's coming in secondhand, trying to.
That movie was good for how much shit it went through. I enjoyed that movie, but it's ridiculous that they kind of went, well, we'll kick you guys out after filming 90% of this movie, and we'll get someone else in who doesn't know what's going on. The head of Marvel is a comic book fan, Kevin Feige. He knows what he's doing. So everything that filters down from him goes along the comic book route. The best DC movie to date was directed by a fucking Marvel director, James Gunn, who again is a fan of comics. So that movie is the best DC movie to date because someone that knows about the comic books and the characters and what they need to do. Sony are just, like you say, they're lawyers and heads of business, and they're like, oh, well, I don't like that because it might not make enough money. I don't like that because we can't get the kids in that will pay the tickets and buy all the toys. It's not about that. It's about the characters, which is what they don't understand. Which is exactly what you said, but yeah, they don't understand.
They're not creative, so they don't understand. They're not in it. Like if I'm starting a business or I'm gonna go to law school, something like that, I'll go talk to the heads of Sony and that, because they've done it pretty much. Like that's what their job is. But if I'm making a movie, I'm finding a director, a screenwriter who's passionate about the subject. Kevin Smith. Like even Steven Spielberg, put him in charge of a comic book movie. Like look, Tang or Tintin, however you want to talk about it. It was an okay movie. I don't think they should have done that weird CGI live action type thing, because it just felt weird. But give him like a full board, like, okay, you're doing a Tang movie, live action, all this. And I think, and give it a small budget. Don't give it a massive budget. Make Steven Spielberg have to go back to his roots.
Yeah.
And I guarantee you'll have something like out of the 80s, a Goonies type movie that's going to last for generations.
Yeah. Do you know, it sounds very, it's not exactly the same, but it's very similar. My YouTube channel, as you know, I've been doing that for 3 years now.
Mm-hmm.
And I've been plugging away, and I stick to what I want to do, which is, stuff that I know that I can talk about. I've had people say to me, "Oh, you get so many more subscribers if you did prank videos, or if you did vlogs, or if you did this, or if you did that." And I'm like, "But that's not what I want to talk about. That's not my passion."
Yeah.
I talk about what I want to talk about. I may not get the subscribers, I might not get the views, but I'm still making videos that I enjoy to make. And it's the same when it comes to Marvel and people like that. They're making the movies that they want to make, and there's very little interference. So they can go along that route and make a movie that they know that the fans will like, as opposed to let's just make a movie that we think will appeal to everyone. It's for everyone, but it's not. It's for the comic book fans, and it's for select fans. And if you make a good enough movie for them, other people will enjoy it as well. Just like the MCU. I know so many people that aren't into comics that love those movies because they are so good. And that's all you have to do. Just make a good movie that appeals to the core audience, but can, eventually other people will come in as well. And that's all Sony need to do. They just need to make a movie that is based on its material and, hope for the best. And it will get to that point where it will make money, which is what they all want.
Money. Yeah, we've been talking about this for quite some time.
That was the smallest piece of news as well. And
it was just a dribble of news. It's going to be delayed. That's it. It goes into a 20-minute talk about Sony and Disney and what they need to do. But we're going to talk about Brendan Fraser right now.
Beautiful, man. Beautiful.
He right now is having a resurgence of a career, which I think is, as fans of Brendan Fraser's in the early 90s, is long overdue, because he was amazing. And we know there was some news that were recently released, probably a couple of years ago, when he started re-entering the entertainment world with some of his films, which were negative, and it was part of the Me Too movement, and it's glad that it came out because he is deserving. But The Mummy, a classic, so good, so fun, so silly.
It is as close to the perfect successor to Indiana Jones that you will ever get. Indiana Jones, perfect movies, all three of them.
All three of them are perfect movies.
Yeah, all three of them, and none others.
There's
and
no other movie of Indiana Jones.
Yeah, if you were to put Indiana Jones in that sort of style, when it comes to sort of ancient Egypt, and I know Indiana Jones dealt with
Nazis.
Sort of not Nazis, mystical stuff. It wasn't really nailed down, but this is just balls to the wall action comedy. Brendan Fraser, go.
with just a bit of love. There's just a bit of romance in it.
It's a beautiful love story as well, and
Yeah.
it's been
It's
done so many
telegraphed. It's telegraphed. So, like, it's so obvious of the love interest that's going to happen, but at the same time, you don't mind it because it's like it doesn't dominate because you get this great banter between Brendan Fraser and Rochelle. Is it Raquel Welch?
Yes. Rachel Weisz. Yeah,
Rachel. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah,
you're right. Of course.
Married to James Bond.
That's right. Oh my God.
Yeah,
hopefully it doesn't come out soon.
It's their chemistry, isn't it? It's like you say, it's not overbearing to the point where you're watching a romance because they're constantly flirting and things like that. They do kind of flirt, but it's more of a I don't really like you, but I kind of like you at the same time.
It's more like a respect. It's like there's this respect to it.
Yeah, and then at the end they kiss, and you're like, okay, well, we saw that coming, but it wasn't overbearing, like you said, and it's kind of in the background behind just an absolute...
The amazing acting from Arnold Vosloo, who plays Imhotep. You have John Hannah playing Jonathan Carnahan, who, again, I love John Hannah.
Yeah.
Kevin O'Connor playing Benji Gador.
I love Benji.
Benji's is hilarious.
He's the worst, but Benji is like the best character, and the way that he constantly gets his comeuppance throughout the movie. Brendan Fraser's Rick O'Connell is always, slapping him around, throwing him off of a boat, giving him that sort of hit that he deserves, but he just keeps coming back, and he's just a snivelly little weasel, and I absolutely adore him.
It's as if Rick and Benji were friends at one point. And Rick is like, I still want to be kind of friends with you, but you're being a fucking dick. Yeah,
it's like he always bullied Benji, but always had him there because he was handy for some reason. He always
it was like he treats Benji at the beginning kind of like a little brother.
Yeah,
like you're my annoying little brother that I have to take on a trip with me.
Yeah,
but I still I want to protect you. And then Benji just goes and is a dick.
Yeah.
Right, he's a dick.
Yeah,
and ends up, and then Rick O'Connell's just like, fuck you. I'm going to I hate you now. You're making my life more difficult than it needs, and you brought a goddamn fucking mummy back to life that turns everything to sand and wants to kill me.
Actually, Rachel Weisz did that because she's an idiot.
Yeah, but Benji was helping. Benji was helping.
I was going to say just quick, before the whole kind of movie starts. It's just incredible from, I wouldn't say start to finish, maybe 5 minutes in onwards. Absolutely perfect movie. The action, the romance, the CGI, second to none. Considering this came out at the same time as The Matrix, and we spoke about how bad that was, this CGI is not perfect, but
they use it properly.
Yes, exactly.
They don't rely on it. They add it to enhance the visual. They're already practical effects, I feel.
And it is chef's kiss. It is almost perfect. The only problem with this whole story is at the beginning, Arnold Vosloo's character, Imhotep, he's having an affair with the kind of king's wife.
He's having so we have Pharaoh Seti I. His wife, Anak Sun Nanam. Yeah, you said it better than me.
Yes.
Played by Patricia Vasquez. I believe I'm pronouncing it properly. She's pretty badass in the second one with that fight scene versus Raquel Welch's Evelyn. Yeah. That is an amazing fight all to itself. But yeah, you have Aarron Epeli playing the Pharaoh, and whose wife is being
unfaithful
with Imhotep.
So Imhotep kills the pharaoh and then gets mummified, and to teach him a lesson. Gruesome as well. They cut his tongue out, his eyes out, and then they throw him in a box with those scarabs that eat him alive. But then they put a spell on him and basically said, at some point in the future, you're going to come back with loads of powers and you're going to take over the world. Why would you do that?
No, they cursed him for eternal life,
Yeah,
And then
but like
cursed.
they even said in the scene that he will come back with all of these incredible powers, and it is now down to all of these people to stop that from happening. Why give him that option? That's the
So
only downside for me.
it's
Just don't
it's
do that. Just kill
it's
him.
you have to remember back in ancient Egypt, they thought they would rule forever and there wouldn't be a change and people would remember and so they would not disturb this evil person because of the curse. But then you have the Brits, again, causing all the issues.
We saved the day. Thank you very much.
Really, it was an American who saved the day.
He could not read that book if it wasn't for the English. He would not have stopped it.
Again, let's go back to a comment that you said before when I was talking about Benji. Who released the evil mummy?
Yeah, but it's a woman, isn't it? You can't trust women when it comes to reading and stuff.
I really hope your wife is watching.
I really hope she isn't. Basically, my point was I don't think they should have given that option to have him have all those powers. But again, after that, it's second to none. It's 100% brilliant movie. It is flawless. It really, and it still holds up. Like you cannot. It's very rare you get a movie, especially one from the 90s, that you can go back to and feel like it was released yesterday because of everything, the cast, the story, minus the little issue at the beginning, the CGI, just everything all around is just, it comes together in such a perfect little bubble. It's the odds are not in favor for it to be that good. And even the sequel, like you mentioned, probably just as good.
Yeah,
you'd never get a sequel that's as good, maybe better than the original.
The sequel had the Scorpion King in it, right? Or was that the third movie?
Yeah, ignore that CGI. Ignore The Rock.
Yeah, but that the Scorpion part, that CGI was a great let down. But again, it was probably like, oh my god, we can make something super, super cool, but the tech wasn't ready for it. If you know what, I would love to see them re-release it with updated tech, like updated CGI.
I think you can see there's a video on YouTube. There's these guys that go back to old CGI and they update it and just make it a bit more good.
Realistic.
Yeah. I can't remember what the video is. At some point, I'll try and find it. If I remember, I'll bring it up next week. But they redid it, and it's not perfect, but it's a lot better than what it is. And considering they're just sitting there on their laptops and they're not professionals, it's incredible. So aside from that, the sequel's just as good. Even the third one isn't that bad.
That's the one with Jet Li, correct?
Yeah, it's not great, but for a threequel, it's pretty good. And just anything with Brendan Fraser in it.
Yeah. I'll see any movie with Brendan Fraser because he is just so fun to watch. Like you can see, he's a Keanu Reeves. He just seems like this 100% good guy who lucked out into being able to act and is like, oh my god, I am so thankful. Like there's the video of him tearing up when he was being told how people are so excited for him to come back as that. Yeah. Be back, and he's kind of like really gets teary-eyed.
He's been cast in Martin Scorsese's next movie.
Yes,
and everyone is so excited. And yeah, like you say, he
for someone who comes from like kind of like stoner-esque movies from the 80s and 90s, you know, like George of the Jungle. What else you had?
It's Encino Man.
Encino Man, which is I forgot he was in it because I was like I'm like. I watched it when I was younger, and I'm like, I own it. Then a little later, I see, oh, Brendan Fraser is in it. Cool. Then I'm like, oh my god, Sean Astin's in it. Oh my god. I knew Pauly Shore was in it because it's Pauly Shore. It's Pauly Shore. Like a movie has Pauly Shore, and it's going to be fun. Like Biodome isn't a great movie, but I rewatched Encino Man, and I'm like, holy shit! Like some of the people in it, I'm like, oh my god, they're so young. I watched because yesterday was Friday the 13th. I watched the first Friday the 13th, the original, you know. Shout out to my boy Aarron from Sir Sturdy for his movies. Horror with Sir Sturdy. he king of horror movies, so you have to check out that if you're a horror fan. But watching that, I was like, oh my god, Kevin Bacon. And I was watching with a friend, and they were like, holy shit, I never thought of the 7 degrees of separation or the 7 degrees of bacon, like that everybody's connected to Kevin Bacon's somehow. I'm like, look at how young he looks.
Yeah, he's
like,
everywhere.
He is. And it's like Brendan Fraser in the 90s. He was in everywhere. I remember Bedazzled, not Bedazzled, the devil one with Elizabeth Hurley.
Yeah, it's Bedazzled. Yeah.
Bedazzled. Such a great movie. Great, like it, because of Elizabeth Hurley, it's on the more sexier side, which appealed to the
Brendan Fraser is sexy.
He is, but it's like, which sexy are you going to want? Brendan Fraser or Elizabeth Hurley? Honestly.
If I had to choose between spending the night with either of those, it would be Brendan Fraser, because that would just be a great night.
Yeah, he just seems like a guy like you sit down and have a brewski with, and he just has these amazing stories that you're just like, tell me more. Just tell me. And you seem he's like an honest to God good entertainer. Like you sit with Keanu Reeves, and you're just like, I just want to just tell me more. So I'm really looking.
Brendan Fraser would just be like, "Did you know I died on the set of The Mummy?" Yes, I did know that. Like, did you know that?
I didn't. I was unaware. Tell us, please.
On the set of The Mummy, very towards the beginning of the movie, he gets hung, and his character gets hung, and I know they in
the
Hollywood,
hook failed.
They got the hook. Yeah, the hook failed, and he passed out. I think he was. I'm not sure if he was legally pronounced dead, but he was unconscious and very nearly dead for at least a couple of minutes. And they had to revive him because they thought he was just acting. It was like, he's really good at this, pretending to die.
Wow, he's really good. Okay, Brendan, we've cut. You can stop now, Brendan.
Stop being purple.
Get him down now. Something's wrong. I can just see the panic on the set going on. So this movie is like, it's so much fun. It's a comfort movie. Like, did you watch this with your kids?
No, not yet. Again, it's a lot of the movies that I really enjoy, you don't realize how violent and scary they are until you think about watching them with kids. This movie should not be scary, but there are scary parts in it, so I'm not going to subject it to them yet. My wife, as you know, is a massive fan of this movie. She was going to come on tonight, but she's not feeling 100%, so she's actually having an early night. But this is her absolute favourite movie. She's constantly quoting lines to me, like she can just off the top of her head quote lines to me, and it's incredible. But for a good reason, because it is almost the perfect movie. Very, very close to being the most perfect movie.
The cast, it's well cast. I love this movie. I can't say enough. All right, we're coming up to the end here. Aarron, how many Book of the Deads are you giving this?
9.
9 Book of the Dead.
Out of 10, yes. Again, almost the perfect movie. There's a couple little things in it that you could kind of go about, but it's so close to being perfect. But again, it's so rewatchable as well. Like I just finished watching it before this, but now I need to go and watch the sequels and then maybe watch it again tomorrow because it is that good.
There you go. I'm going to give it 8.5. Just, again, like you said, there's points that could be improved. There's things that kind of mesh, not the greatest. But after watching Jungle Cruise, I feel that The Mummy and the Jungle Cruise are pretty much nearly the exact same movie. The story-wise, you have a badass adventurer, The Rock, and Brendan Fraser. You have a kick-ass female lead that wears pants and not dresses.
Yeah, and their brother and sister, and they're British. Yes.
They're getting chased by an evil supernatural force.
Yes.
That's released by, in this case, it's about an evil German guy, but Raquel Welch released in The Mummy, but he's helped by, a bumbling fool. And you kind of see the German as a bumbling type fool character, because in the one at one moment there's a quote, but they're being chased by these supernatural beings, and it's a fun movie. Like it's like a Swiss Family Robinson type movie. Like when we were younger, these are the movies our parents showed us because it was fun, and then as you grew up, they get more and more adventurous because the action of the world is like permeating. So, but yeah, this movie is fun. I enjoyed it. You should be watching it again. It gets it's the Phil Better approved. It is Phil Better approved. That's pretty much it. Aaron, tell us where we can find you so that we can watch you more.
Again, Aarron Talks Films across the board. Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, TikTok, YouTube is the main one. Spotify as well. I'm on Spotify as well.
Excuse me, look, I'm on Spotify.
Yeah, well, I've got my own podcast, so yeah.
Excuse me, I have my own podcast. It's called Aarron Talks Film. By
some guy produced.
Yeah, some weirdo.
Yeah, I don't even know what his name is. But yeah, YouTube. Hopefully tomorrow or the day after, I should have a review for Free Guy.
Ooh.
Look forward to that. Yes, a little tease there. Come and check that out.
I'm definitely going to check that out. I'm glad that you always send me a link to them so I can, in case YouTube doesn't suggest them, because sometimes YouTube is a bastard.
Yeah.
As we know. Yeah. But ladies and gentlemen, I am Phil Better, the podcast mogul, a cinephile to the highest order. But I know nothing about movies. I just enjoy them. And we got Aarron Talks Film, the pulp culture phenomenon and most knowledgeable man in Britain when it comes to movies and that. Aarron, I'm done. What are you going to say?
In case I don't see you, good afternoon, good evening, and good night.
Ladies and gentlemen, remember to invest in yourself. Stay hydrated. And this is the Phil Better Show. You can check us out every Saturday at 5:30 Eastern Standard Time. And what time is it in Britain right now? It's like 11 o'clock?
11:30, yeah.
11:30.
11:30. Late.
It's late for the Aarron. And so I thank you so much for watching, Aarron. Thank you for being here as always. Invest in yourself and take care.